Welcome to FootballGameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our preview of the 2013 Little Caesars Pizza Bowl between the Bowling Green Falcons and the Pitt Panthers. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Falcons. The Bowling Green Falcons have had a phenomenal season that ended up with them winning the MAC championship over Northern Illinois, and offensively the Falcons have averaged 35 points a game all season long, led by sophomore quarterback Matt Johnson, who has done a great job moving the chains. And that's key versus the Pitt Panthers. The most important thing the Falcons will have to do is be creative when trying to block defensive tackle Aaron Donald, and the best way that they can will be to utilize Johnson's mobility in moving the pocket and keep working the misdirection run game as well as the screen game early and often. Defensively, the Falcons have held 7 opponents to 7 points or less, and they made a Northern Illinois team look ineffective all game long in the MAC championship game. Now versus Pitt, the Falcons' pass defense will be put to the test because the Panthers have 2 excellent options at wide receiver that can play both above the rim as well as going over the middle of the field. So communication in the secondary will be key. Now let's move over to Pitt in this ball game, and when the Panthers are clicking offensively, they are very tough to defend, and it's due to their multiplicity in their offense. They can attack you in the running game, the passing game, both intermediate and vertical, but the problem has been, number 1, the ability to protect the quarterback, and 2, not being able to sustain drives. This game versus Bowling Green, I'd go with more double tight end sets, whether that's ace formation or maybe a strong formation with 2 tight ends on the same side. If they're able to stay multiple, that'll calm the pressure of the Falcons. Defensively, you have to start with Aaron Donald, the uber-disruptive defensive tackle. He's a cornerstone of their defense, and in this game versus Bowling Green, interior pressure versus that spread offense will be key. They have to keep the Falcons from playing the speed game. Otherwise, it could be difficult to get these guys off the field. Now, I also believe delayed pressure coming off the edge could also lead to a forced bad decision. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive the Panthers get defensively versus Bowling Green. The X factor in this game for Bowling Green will be the cornerback play. You look at both Cameron Truss and Aaron Foster. They're going to have their hands full in this matchup versus Pitt's talented duo in Tyler Boyd, the true freshman, and also Devin Street, the outstanding 6'4", 195-pound wide receiver. Both Truss and Foster will have to bring their A game if the Falcons' defense is going to have success slowing down the passing game of Pitt. The X factor for the Panthers will be their offensive line. They have to do a better job in pass protection, more than what they've done all season long. They've given up 41 sacks on the season, so you better believe that Bowling Green will come into this ball game trying to send extra at that offensive line, trying to get back there to Savage. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Bowling Green, keeping tight end Alex Bear on the move could be beneficial for this offense. He's an athletic tight end, a guy that you can move around the formation. You can line him up out wide, you can put him in a slot, and he can also help you out in a running game by giving you better blocking angles as a flex tight end. So you have to keep him on the move. And the linebackers cannot get reached in the running game. Pitt wants to run that outside zone. They want to run that outside power. If the linebackers get reached, Pitt can run the football outside all day long. And I would also find ways to keep Aaron Donald busy at the line of scrimmage. He's their best defensive player, and he causes a lot of disruption up front. So maybe you want to run your misdirection game. Maybe you want to wham him at the line of scrimmage, or maybe try to find ways to influence protect him in the passing game, but you can't allow him to be disruptive. Otherwise, you're going to derail what you're trying to do on offense. For Pitt in this ball game, quarterback Tom Savage will have to take calculated risk in the passing game. You look at a Bowling Green secondary that thrives off the big play, that's looking for the turnover, and Savage can't be careless with the football. He cannot predetermine his throws, and when he takes those shots deep down the field, he has to put the football where his guy can catch it or nobody catches it. Otherwise, it could be a turnover. You can't be careless with the football versus this Falcons secondary. And they're going to have to draw coverage away from the outside so those wide receivers in Street and also Boyd can operate one-on-one. The best way they can do that is by 1, running the football, and 2, working those tight ends in the passing game very early. And you have to close the door on Matt Johnson. He's the type of quarterback that wants to extend the play both in the running game as well as in the passing game by getting outside the pocket. Keep him contained, tackle to tackle, and you can have some success. Now here are some 2014 draft prospects you want to keep an eye on in this ball game. For Bowling Green, you look at safety Boo Boo Gates, a guy that does a great job on both ends of defense and has been a productive player throughout the course of his Falcon career. And tight end Alex Baer is coming off a phenomenal MAC championship game. He definitely has a bright future at the next level as a move tight end, 6'4", 230. You can flex him out wide, and he can definitely get the job done. And I'm also a big fan of Cameron Trust, a cornerback, 5'10", 185. He's going to have a big game this week and can make himself a lot of money versus the talented Pitt wide receivers. And defensive tackle Tad Owlett is another player along that defensive line that does a great job getting penetration, utilizing his quickness. And for Pitt, you look at All-American defensive tackle Aaron Donald, 6 feet, 285 pounds. Don't let the size fool you. This is the guy that can play on the interior at the next level. And Devin Street is a very underrated wide receiver. Reminds me a lot of Webster Slaughter in his acceleration in and out of his breaks. Keep an eye on him moving forward. And I'm also a big fan of safety Jason Hendricks, an outstanding ball hawking safety on the back end. And quarterback Tom Savage will draw a lot of attention this offseason. Has to have a big bowl game and also big games in the postseason in order to move up on many people's draft boards. Before it was the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl, it was known as the Motor City Bowl, and the inaugural game in '97 drew the Marshall Thundering Herd led by Randy Moss and Chad Pennington versus the Deuce McAllister-led Ole Miss Rebels. And this game was nip and tuck throughout the course of this ball game until Deuce McAllister plowed in from the 1-yard line to give the Rebels a 34-31 victory. The 1991 California Raisin Bowl will be the third time Bowling Green played Fresno State in that bowl game, and the previous two were losses, and many were expecting this one to be the same as the Falcons were double-digit underdogs. But protecting the 7-point lead with 3 seconds left in the game, linebacker Kevin O'Brien knifed through the line, beat the protection, causing an incomplete pass, giving Bowling Green its first bowl victory in school history, 28-21. In the 1977 Sugar Bowl, head coach Johnny Majors led his undefeated Pitt Panthers against Vince Dooley's third-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, and what was supposed to be a clash of the Titans, it wasn't even close, as the Panthers literally ran all over the Bulldogs on the legs of Heisman Trophy winning running back Tony Dorsett in a 27-3 rout, earning the Pitt Panthers the national championship. Omar Jacobs is definitely a campus legend. From 2003 to 2005, Jacobs embarked on a record-breaking odyssey as a Falcon, and in 2004, as a sophomore, he threw for over 4,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions, and that was the best touchdown-to-interception ratio in NCAA Division I history. He would go on to become an All-American and a MAC Offensive Player of the Year, and he finished his Falcon career with over 6,900 yards passing and 71 touchdowns. Craig Ironhead Hayward was one of the best running backs in college football history from 1984 to 1987. This was a bruising running back at 5'11", 250 pounds, and as a junior at Pitt, he rushed for over 1,600 yards, averaging 100 yards a game, earning first-team All-American honors, and finished his Panther career with over 3,000 yards rushing. I like Bowling Green in this ballgame. I believe right now the Falcons are a better football team than Pitt. Although Pitt has some talent, that offensive line worries me a lot, and I think the Falcons will be able to get a lot of pressure on Tom Savage and getting these guys off the field. So I think Bowling Green comes away victorious in the 2013 Little Caesars Pizza Bowl.